We're here again in Las Vegas for the exciting SEMA Show 2016, taking another lap around all the hottest cars, flashy booth displays, and bringing you tips from today's top experts who reveal for the first time their secrets to cutting-edge shocks. With over 3 decades of car designing, building, and racing experience both under the car and behind the wheel, Winner's Circle veteran Ron Sutton of Ron Sutton Race Technology and Bret Voelkel of Ridetech Suspension give us the inside track and winner's tips. So what is the #1 secret to great shocks for street and track?
Hi guys, this is Lauren.
And this is Ken.
We're the Bennett Twins coming to you live at the SEMA Show. All right, so what is a secret to great shocks for pro touring track and street?
I think a secret to that is you've got to make sure everything's paired together. Great shocks, great springs, pick the right company. So I think it's you got to put everything together and make sure the whole system works, not just the shocks, but pick a reputable company.
Shock performance, it depends on what you want. I mean, you have gas, you have airlift. I mean, it depends on the car.
What's the #1 secret to great shock performance?
Shock, as in shock absorbers?
Like shock, yep.
The #1 secret, the brand of the shock absorber, of course.
Coming to you live from SEMA 2016. Hey, I'm Ron Sutton here in the Ridetech booth. And many of you know that I've had a great relationship working with Ridetech because of their phenomenal shocks. You know, we had a customer years ago bring us one, and I was in the racing world, didn't know who they were. Hey, let's test this thing out. We popped her on the dyno, we took it apart, we beat on it, we did a bunch of changes to it. We said, man, this is a really good shock. And so from there we started playing with the valving in them, and we started making them meaner and meaner and meaner. We initially developed a digressive plate that would go onto their piston and made the shock digressive, and got them pretty mean, where we got what we call the 0 number, which that won't make sense to some of you, but give me a call and we'll talk about it. 0 number is how we tie the front end of the car down through the roll-through zone of the corner, and getting a shock to do that and do that well and do it to whatever time length we want, it's a trick. And so we had some great success with these shocks and their standard piston and their linear piston and the digressive plate. And then they developed a double digressive piston. I was suggesting that. They came up with one, and they didn't just come up with one, they came up with a great one. It's not just double digressive. Very good frequency, very good response rate. Wow. So what we're doing now with that piston, with that lighter, special built aluminum piston, double digressive each side, what we can do now is create incredible grip, incredible tie down of the front end through the roll-through zone of the corner, and carry literally 3, 4, 5 miles an hour more through a corner than we could before. Amazing stuff, amazing stuff. I work with a lot of shock brands. I think most of you know that, and there's a lot of good brands and stuff. The Ridetech shock is the one that I chose to work with to create my Ron Sutton Trackstar valving, which is commonly and sometimes affectionately known as secret sauce. So our secret sauce shock valving comes in 4 variations. We have one called Street Star, and there's no tie down valving in it. It's just a little meaner in the compression and a lot meaner on the rebound side, and it creates some grip. And then what we do with our Autocross Star, that's the one where we can actually put what we call 0 number in it. And 0 number is initial, immediate tie down of the rebound side, and it creates grip, especially going into the corner with the rear of the car, in the roll-through zone with the front of the car, and then of course in the rear of the car coming off the corner. And so we do that in front and rear shocks. Of course, I got to tell you that the front and rear shocks are different valved. We do not do the same valving in the front and rear. They are different. And then there's our Trackstar valving. Our Trackstar valving is our most popular. And what we do with our Trackstar valving is we've made it so that it's literally race shock mean in the last 12 settings of the 24 settings of adjustment. But the first 12 settings of the adjustments is very streetable, very drivable, comfortable, just feels like a great sports car. So we got good ride quality in about half the adjustments, and then we've got, literally race shock valving in the other half of the adjustments. It's pretty cool. That's what most of our customers know us for, is our Trackstar valving, where we have a 600-pound zero number in it that is making that thing really, really mean when you're up there in the high rebound numbers and stuff. And then our meanest valving really is not meant for street cars, and we call it race star valving. And why we call it race star is because we've made the thing so mean in the upper register of the grips that you really can't get it soft enough to make it have a pretty good street ride. So if you're building a pro touring car, really recommend the Trackstar valving. We can make the car substantially faster and still have a good streetable car. We recently did a test with a GT race team in California, and we went to the roughest racetrack on the West Coast, which is a great test of shocks and grip. So we went to the roughest racetrack we knew of, and we ran with them, and they ran their existing shocks, which I'm not going to name by brand, and it was their latest, greatest race valving. And then we took 2 sets of shocks with us, both Ridetechs, both triple adjustables, one of them with a Trackstar valving, one of them with a Race Star valving. With the Trackstar valving, we started out with a rebound at 400 pounds of zero number, and they immediately went quicker, almost 2 seconds quicker. And then we cranked on that, I call it the grip knob. We cranked on that rebound, dialed a little more zero number in it, boom, went over 2 seconds quicker. And just kept dialing her in until we got to the max of our Trackstar valving. And their GT race car in this championship team was 3.1 seconds quicker on lap times at Buttonwillow in a GT car. But we weren't done. We said, all right, so now let's put the Race Star valving on there. So we put the Race Star valving shock on there, and we started off where we went before, and we just kept sneaking up on it a little bit at a time, and eventually, as we got near the end of the Race Star valving, we had the car 3.5 seconds a lap faster than on their previous race shocks. This is not some backmarker team. They'd won the championship the previous year. We carved 3.5 seconds off their time. They were blown away, of course, as a team. We were happy, but the proof in the pudding was not at that test day, it was at the very next race. They'd been being out-qualified by a Porsche GT car, and by a few hundredths here and there, half second, something like that. At the next race, they out-qualified that Porsche by over 3 seconds. Just real track performance in a real race environment proving that. And these are the same shocks that we provide to sell to our customers in the pro touring world. You can buy these for your Camaro, your Nova, your Chevelle, your 55 Chevy, and we can do autocross star valving, we can do track star valving, we can do race star valving. I really don't recommend the race star valving unless it's really not going to be street driven. But the track star valving, it's like the best of both worlds. Half the shock is mean race shock, and half the valving is a really streetable shock that's just got a good, nice sport car feel. Let's talk shock adjustments. Single adjustable, non-adjustable, double adjustable, triple adjustable. What do I buy? What's going to work? Hey, I don't know how to tune these. These are common questions and things that questions I get from customers and clients and prospective clients all the time. And Brett, who obviously owns Ridetech and is a very sharp suspension guy, he and I have a little different philosophy. He doesn't typically recommend his customers get the triple adjustable unless, of course, they are really looking for every tenth, and they're also knowledgeable in shock and they feel that they need that. And I look at it a little differently in that if you have the budget, the triple adjustable shock is a faster shock, just a little bit, but it's faster. And why it's faster is not because it has 3 adjustments. It's faster because it's got a canister on it, and that canister has a piston in it. And what that does, that piston in that canister acts to help separate some of the harmonic waves that are going on in that shock, and it separates some of the pressure on the shock rod, and it makes the shock more responsive. It makes the shock respond quicker. Some of you that have been in my workshops, you know how I like to explain, if we took a string and stretched it out for 10 feet and put it on the ground at any corner at any racetrack in America and shined a light on one side when it was kind of dusk out, that you'd see 4, 5, 6, 8 undulations underneath that string. And those are little small undulation bumps that we want that tire to stay in contact with the ground. Well, it can't do it if the shock can't keep up. The shock needs to respond, believe it or not, at only 68 miles an hour in the corner. At only 68 miles an hour, your tire is covering that 10 feet, those 4, 5, 6, 8 undulations in 1/10 of a second. And we need the shock to control that tire in that period of time. Milliseconds matter. See, most twin tube shocks out there probably respond in the 25 to 35 millisecond range. And while that sounds cool and fast, it's really not. Really good monotube shocks, we're seeing response rates well down into the 5 millisecond range. 25 to 35, 5 millisecond range. And that's what helps us to create more grip. That fast response time is keeping that tire following those undulations in there. So one of the advantages of the triple adjustable shock is not just that it has 3 adjustments, which is high speed compression, low speed compression, and rebound adjustment, but that it uses this canister. What this canister does is it has a little piston in there, and it helps us to take some of the pressure off of the rod in the shock. It's commonly known in the industry as rod pressure. And rod pressure slows down the response rate of a shock. And by reducing that rod pressure in the shock, we're getting a quicker responding shock. Quicker responding shock, more grip, more grip. So this shock is responding in the 5 millisecond range. That's pretty doggone mean. You know, that's, you know, professional racing shock, championship level performance, you know, in that level. We've got the grip in these shocks, I mean, just absolute cutting edge, literally right on the cusp of shocks that cost 2, 3, 4 times this. We're getting that kind of performance out of it. Now, if the budget doesn't allow to go triple adjustable, we just don't have the money, then let's do the single adjustable. With a single adjustable shock, it is the same shock. It is exactly the same shock, just minus the canister. So what we have in here is a smidge more rod pressure in this. So this shock's not responding at 5 milliseconds, it's responding in about 6 milliseconds. That's pretty small. If you're on a budget, this shock right here is the meanest shock you can buy for under $500. With the double degressive aluminum piston that is in this shock and my TrackStar valving ready to go, the shock is $350. It's only $350. That's a crazy bargain. Every once in a while, Bret, you know, threatens to raise the price on them, and I encourage him to keep it down because, man, this is a heck of a value right here. You can get a whole set of shocks, if you think of it like that, for $1,400. There's our shocks out there that cost $1,400 for one. Here we have a whole set, and the performance is pretty dang amazing. So we still have our single adjustment, which is rebound, and that is the most important. We're creating the tie-down adjustment valving in this. The TrackStar valving is the exact same valving in the single adjustable as it is in the triple adjustable.
My name is Bret Voelkel. I'm the owner of Ridetech Suspension. I'm here at the annual SEMA show. This is my 30th year here. So I tell all my friends I was 5 when I started coming. Love this show, love the people here. I see people here once a year I don't see throughout the year, so it's always a fun time to come here. So we're going to talk a little bit about suspension and specifically shock absorbers. We're here displaying our air suspension stuff. This is our patented Shockwave stuff, and the very popular coilover. So for 99% of my customers, they like the single adjustable coilover. It gives great ride quality. It's a monotube shock, lots of adjustability for ride quality and for handling. So this is our triple adjustable shock absorber in a coilover configuration. Has a single stage of rebound, has 2 stages of compression adjustment on the canister here. So I get a lot of questions about which do I need? Do I need single adjustable or triple adjustable? For most people, I always recommend the single adjustable. The triple adjustable is great for racing if you have the dedication and the ability to do some data logging, to do some testing, to do some adjusting. You can really use it as a good tuning tool. For the rest of the world, including me in most cases, I'd rather deal with one single rebound setting, and that'll get you where you want to go. When we go to tune a car, I always try to tune ride quality first. I think ride quality is as important on a race car as it is on a street car. You feel ride quality every time you sit down in the seat. And the same components that improve ride quality also improve grip. We can improve that yet again with the triple adjustable, with the fine tuning of the compression adjustments. But for most people, as I said, the single adjustable really works out well. We've been fortunate over the years to work with a large number of very talented tuners and racers. You know, these guys are really smart. They know what their car does, they know what tracks they run. With a little bit of help from us and some guidance on shock tuning, they can actually give information back to us about what makes this shock work the best on their car. So we like to work with a wide variety of racers in a lot of different formats in a lot of areas all over the country.